All right. Good afternoon. This is Samantha from the law offices of Samantha Wolf, and I'm excited today to have a conversation with Noah Hazlett. So, first of all, hi, Noah.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
So, for those of you who are watching this and don't know who Noah is, Noah was a legal intern at our office over the summer and has continued working at our office after he went back to school, which is where you're at, right? Back at school learning.
Yes, I'm not actually sitting in this office space right now. I'm at Robert Morris University right now. I'm on campus um, during the school day. And I'm off campus the rest of the time. I'm staying in a town nearby, and so I've been
Nice.
doing some work for Sam remotely from my
Yes.
computer. Yeah.
Thankfully, Noah is very good with technology, so he's able to do this. We have a weekly marketing meeting that Noah is a part of that we, I guess, Zoom him in. We don't use Zoom per se, but he's with us virtually. And so at one of our marketing meetings, we just started talking about all the things that Noah did when he was here at the office over the summer, because we did try to get him some experience in the different areas that we work on, gave him some different client interactions. So, what I thought might be helpful for us, of course, to know what's helpful here at our office, but also for our clients and referrals to be able to kind of get Noah's perspective on what it's like at our office. So, we brainstormed and we thought maybe the best way to do that is for us to do an interview with Noah where he can share some of his thoughts with us, since he didn't really have a background in the area of elder law prior to working at the office. So, we thought it would be a good way to get information out to you in a different format. So thanks, Noah, for agreeing to do this. I appreciate it.
Of
So
course.
the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about why did you decide you wanted to intern at our office? So just give us some background as to how we got connected and how that process came together.
Well, I've always wanted to be a lawyer in some capacity. I wasn't really sure what kind of law I wanted to practice, and I had been attending Robert Morris for 2 years up until that point, and I had been in the 3+3 law program there, which is essentially an accelerated law program. And so this past summer, I was looking for law offices to intern at, so that I could gain some legal experience before I entered the field of law, just so I know that's what I want to do. Gain more knowledge about it, and really dip my toes into what would happen. And so I came to meet Sam, and we had a interview together, and we were just talking about everything that would be involved in it. And luckily, I was given this great opportunity to see what happens on a day-to-day basis, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, I feel like we have to give a shout out to Mama Hazlett because I think she's kind of the connection that we had.
Yes.
Um, So thank you, Mama Hazlett, for bringing Noah to our office. I did have a funny little anecdote about our first meeting. So my personality, I'm a little bit of a nervous person generally, and so I knew I was going to have to interview you, right? Because you want to go through the process just like you would for a law office if we were having like somebody new coming in. So I
Mhm.
wanted to do an interview. And when we met, it was an afternoon and my day had been crazy. And so we sit down and I think I asked you what type of law you thought you might want to practice in. Do you remember what you told me that afternoon?
I said that, although I really didn't know, I said like contract law, just like not elder law.
Right, right. Because I said, what area you're interested in, and you said family law was one of the areas, but you said, I haven't really decided. I just thought getting some experience, and so yeah. So then I remember saying to you, "Oh my goodness," because to me, family law is a very stressful area. It's usually divorces, custodies, that type of thing. Um, so I then proceeded to say, do you think you would like working in this area of law? So prior to coming here, did you know what maybe elder law or what somebody who practices in that area, did you know anything about what elder law was?
I had no idea. It's based on facts, because in my brain, I'm like, oh, we're going to be writing lots of wills. you
Right.
know, and in that sense, you don't know what a lexical test is. It's just like, oh, they're just wills, you know.
Right.
And that's pretty much the extent of what I thought it was whenever I was coming into it. But I am very glad to know that it's not just that, and there's a lot more to it, and a lot more stuff that is beneficial to the community and stuff that I enjoy.
Oh, see, that's so nice. Thanks, Noah. I always appreciate when to get other people's perspective because I do think that we are in a time when attorneys are specializing more and more or focusing on a certain area of law. And I think it's just like when you go to a doctor. So focusing on the specific practice area that you know you want to help people in. And so elder law, I think of as we're really trying to focus on the second half of life and the planning for that second half of life. And whether that be a nursing home or whether that is just a basic will, getting your estate plan in order, I think is really important. And so it was nice to see it through your perspective. I've been in this area for my whole career since I started. So it's nice to kind of see that again through fresh eyes and understand that people come in thinking it's one thing, but then when they have the experience might come out with a different result as to what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities were here at the office and describe to our audience some of the things that you did over the summer while you were here.
Well, I assisted you in revising legal documents. We would have documents the clients would like us to do, and you would help me look through them and
Mhm.
get them ready to go for those clients. And you really showed me all the different parts of it, all the different aspects, and really taught me how to put those together.
Mhm.
We had meetings with clients, and I would sit in and observe. But then I would also occasionally take notes on those meetings if that was something that you needed.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and I did a lot of social media content, so
Mhm.
I posted a lot of things on the Facebook page, LinkedIn page, the YouTube page, advertisements for events.
Mhm.
I wrote multiple blog posts
You
about
did,
what I.
yes.
What's that?
I said you did. They were fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
I think the nice thing you brought to the office was your skill in doing videos. So
Yes.
talk a little
So
bit about those because they worked in conjunction with the blogs.
yes. So like you said, those videos that I created were made in like in a supplement to the blog post. The blog posts were informational, what I learned, and so I would do then is I would film myself talking about what I had learned through the week and all the different parts of elder law that I thought would be relevant to people who would be coming into the office as a client. And I posted those onto our YouTube page, and I was very happy with how those turned out. I enjoyed making
Absolutely.
them, and I liked showing all the things that I learned because then I could help other people who also are new to it, all the different
Mhm.
things that they need to know.
And you have a very good speaking voice because when we were editing them, and I'm watching them, I'm like, oh, like it's nice. You have a nice, calm, soothing voice. I feel like when you're trying to explain difficult concepts.
Thank
And
you,
what
thank you.
what was interesting is up until that point, we had tried to do like a series, What If Wednesdays, where I would try to, in 2 minutes or less, answer questions that people might have about elder law or estate planning. And let's be honest, it was just me sitting in front of the computer, taping my answers. And so the first week that we posted Noah's video specifically, oh my gosh, we got so many views. Like I should go back and look to see how many views we ended up getting, but it was crazy. And I thought to myself, Noah's gonna leave and everybody's gonna be like, great, now we have to watch Sam do these stupid videos again about areas of law. So thank you for bringing that expertise to our office. I really do feel like I said, it was a fresh look at concepts that I feel like we here at the office talk about all the time, but maybe our clients are coming in with less of an understanding. And so I felt like what that video series did was it took it back to a more basic level. And I think that that's important for our clients. So to those of you who haven't checked it out, you can look at our YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube and type in the Law Offices of Samantha Wolf, we have it under the playlist. It's an intern's crash course, is what we have that titled, and we have all of Noah's videos posted there. And you're always welcome to give comments or feedback. Our hope is that Noah's going to continue working with us as he goes through school and gets ready to go to law school and gets ready for his professional career. And so we might see more videos at different times explaining concepts. So, but I did want to make sure you knew that we appreciated all the work because he spent hours editing, taping, and it was exciting. It was a nice breath of fresh air to our marketing that we had. So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
So after all that said, after you went through your internship, what can you tell us about the thing that you learned dealing with elder law specifically? If you had to do one takeaway, what is it?
So the one thing about elder law that I would say is my biggest takeaway is that it's something that everyone eventually is going to have to interact with
Mhm,
because everyone's going to age. And
mhm,
one of the things that I feel makes elder law very important, and as me, as someone who is very much looking into doing that as a career, is giving people peace of mind whenever they have to go through those affairs, get everything in order so that they can enjoy their life and not have those things hanging over their head
mhm.
because that's the kind of stuff that's important.
Yes.
We live in a modern age where we have to deal with all this complex
Mhm.
adulting stuff, and it
Yes.
doesn't end. Like me and my friends joke about learning how to adulting now because I'm a college student. I'm living in an
Mhm.
apartment on my own. I have to cook my own meals and stuff like that. But it's not just like that one step in life where you learn how to adult.
Mhm.
It keeps
Yes.
on going throughout your life. And so once you or a loved one reaches that point, making that peace of mind available to you,
Mhm.
it's a lot of help. And that makes me feel very, very fulfilled because I get to help people in my community
Mhm.
attain that because who knows anything about elder law besides an attorney?
Right.
Like I
Right.
can call up my parents, be like, "Hey, how do you boil a pot of rice?"
Right.
But you can't just do that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And I feel like the laws have become so nuanced that it takes somebody who's devoting full-time practice to this area to keep relevant, to stay
Hmm.
current with all the changes that are happening. So, if anything, I thought that the advances and what was happening here in Pennsylvania with alcohol would slow down during the shutdown and everything with COVID. But the exact opposite happened because if you think about it, we have our population, 50 and older, which is kind of the demographic we're talking about. A lot of them are in assisted living facilities or personal care facilities or nursing home facilities. And that age group has been affected probably more than any other by what has happened in our world in the last year and a half. And so, where I thought maybe we wouldn't see as much happening in this area, I think, again, the last 18 months, we've seen a lot of changes just even in the way people look at long-term care and look at facilities and how we can cope through a pandemic like what we are going through now. So that being said, what do you think makes elder law so important in our world today?
So, like I said, that peace of mind is really, really important. Whether it comes to figuring out long term living situations or their assets, their hard earned cash,
Mhm.
having that peace of mind with those aspects of your life is so, so, so important to enjoying the time that you have here. Because, like the analogy I used before, I can ask my parents how to do my taxes and stuff like that. But you can't just call somebody up just like that in your personal life and be like, "Hi, how do I set up a trust?" You know?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I think elder law is super important because it allows that avenue so that you can get that stuff figured out so that you're not stressing about it and you're just living your life and having the best time that you can. And especially with COVID and everything, like you said, things have acutely affected certain people, and finding that peace of mind is more important than ever nowadays.
Mhm. Well, and we think of elder law as during your life, trying to protect assets or deal with nursing home issues. That's really kind of what we think of with elder law. But we're realizing that on the other end of that, when someone passes away and they've been in a facility, we're learning how elder law impacts the estate administration process with the Department of Human Services and the fact that they can come against the estate. And you and I have talked a lot about how that affects certain demographics more than others, certain socioeconomic groups more than others. And so it's so interesting to me to have had someone that is still in the educational, like their sole job is education right now. I feel like that's
Mhm.
what your job is. And so to have someone like that kind of come alongside and look at it from a different perspective, because you and I were talking a lot about how one of the things that you might have to do part of your education is write like a more formal paper, and just
Mhm.
how this experience you may end up covering one of the topics
Mhm.
dealing with that as part of your paper. And so it was fun for me because not everybody wants to sit and talk about that. At the dinner table,
Mhm.
nobody wants to hear about,
Mhm.
DHS, the Department of Human Services, making a claim. So it was fun to be able to talk about it with someone who was excited
Mhm.
learning about all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So just give a summary, Noah, not that this is something you're for sure going to do, but kind of tell the audience a little bit about like what, when we were talking about this paper that you may have to do,
Mhm.
what was something that it was your idea? Tell us a little bit about kind of what you were thinking when you and I were talking about it.
Mhm. So at Robert Morris University, I'm both in the honors program and my major is political science. And for both of those departments, the students to graduate have to complete a thesis project. And in this semester, I'm actually starting the prep work for that. So I'm taking courses as like, they have different names, but essentially it's like preparing you to actually write your thesis.
Okay.
And other students have done research. The one, because for one of our assignments, we had to read a previous thesis where someone studied the effects of therapy pets on a college campus. So that
Oh,
was something
neat.
somebody else
Yeah.
did. And so,
Hmm.
I had kept this in the back of my mind going into the summer. Like at some point in time, I should probably come up with an idea. And I didn't really think much of it. And whenever I was interning at the office, what I kind of gathered from like a lot of clients is what happens, unfortunately, a lot of the times is people come in and they are not preparing, but they're scrambling, for lack of
Hmm.
a better words, because some tragedy had happened and they weren't prepared for it. And it's not necessarily those people's fault.
Right.
The education out there and the resources available to certain, economic groups of people to be able to have that preparation in place is a huge, huge factor. And again, this is a field of law that everyone's going to have to deal with. And so I want to see how that affects our society as a whole, like how that affects everybody. And especially it's very relevant nowadays with the COVID-19 pandemic. I wanted to investigate and see if the way that things are structured right now might not actually be benefiting people as much as it could be. And, as much as elder law attorneys will do their absolute best,
Hmm.
it's up to the law ultimately as to
Right.
how it helps the people.
Yes. Yes. And I think that I've talked a lot about this in other videos and some of the series, we really focus on trying to educate people. In my old law firm, I worked for 7.5 years in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and there were three medium-sized law firms in that area who practiced solely in elder law and talking about nursing home issues and protection of assets and getting your affairs in order. And that's all these law firms did. And I worked for one of them. And I moved back here to be closer to my family, and I was surprised at how much people didn't understand the options that they had and didn't know that there are ways that you can address this and protect assets. The law allows you to do it. You just have to know that those options are available. So, again, I think that's why getting the education out there. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that, again, with you still being in your education phase of your life, having somebody in that age group, a younger age group, and kind of learning and then getting that experience, I think is going to be really helpful for everybody in society as we age to be able to bring some younger fresh minds in there. So that's how I look at it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's always good to get the exposure, it's always good to hear about it. I never think education is wasted, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why we put such an emphasis on it here at our office. Okay, so tell us the best part of your internship.
The best part of my internship. I would definitely say the best part of my internship was helping everybody there feel peace of mind. And that's one of the things where whenever I was looking into a potential field of law, I didn't want to end up in a stereotypical lawyer profession type of a deal. And, like on Hollywood and stuff like that,
Mhm.
like how that's typically portrayed. Like I didn't want that for myself. I
Right.
wanted to use the skills that I had to benefit my community and help others around me, help individuals.
Mhm.
And whenever I would help out in the office, I could see the relief in people's faces whenever we would get things figured out, like that deep, like relieving sigh, you know what I mean?
Mhm. I do.
And just taking that weight off of people's shoulder, even if I'm clearly not the attorney in that situation, me even helping with that
Mhm.
process made me feel very, very, very happy. Like I'm doing what I need to do. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to
Yes.
be doing.
Yes, absolutely. And it does feel very much, and you and I have talked about this, when I started the office, we had a very clear mission about what we wanted to be able to do for our clients. And so I think that everybody here at the staff, all of the support staff, as well as you being here over the summer and really committing to what our mission statement is, helping the community in any way we can. I think that's what we're here for, and that's
Hmm.
what we need to be doing in our community. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So, what would you want people to know about us here at the office, the staff, anything like that, that people who aren't in here every day might not know about us?
Well, I guess on the note of, people have these ideas in their head of an attorney from watching Hollywood and like TV
Right.
shows and stuff like that. One of my favorite TV shows of all time is Community. The lead is Jeff Winger, who is the stereotypical Hollywood sleazy lawyer guy. That is so far from reality. The people in this office are so kind, they're so understanding, and they want your best interests. And genuinely, that is where all of their work comes from, because they use our people like locals in the community who want everyone to be better off as a result of their work. Like that's why they're doing what they're doing. I have no doubt in my mind that you're to come into the office and you're to leave with a big smile on your face, because everyone here is just so fun to talk to, and everyone here is just such a joy to be around. Everything about the office, it's one of my favorite places to be.
Oh, we miss having you here every day. I mean, I know we get to see you weekly, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know that honestly, I don't know that I can take a lot of credit for that. We just have good people working for us. I mean, we
Mhm.
do. We have, whether it be Tammy at our office, who handles our estate administration, Sandy, who has been working in this area of law for 50 plus years. I think she just started, I think, her 52nd year um, practicing this area. We have Amy, then we have Jess, and then you were there. So it's a nice group of people who I think really do like to help people. And you don't always have that when you're working with people. Sometimes you'll get people who are just punching the clock in and
Mhm.
out. But I do feel like um, the staff here really does care for the clients, and that
Mhm.
makes me very proud. It's
Mhm.
fun to be the boss in an atmosphere like that. I say as sometimes I'm growling about being the boss. Um, so, what are you most proud of that you accomplished during your internship?
So I would say that it would be me preparing myself for my future, because I learned so much that a lot of people in my current stage in their education would not know. And I feel like I'm proud of that, because not only in doing so did I help people in my community, but it is putting me steps ahead of a lot of my
Mhm.
peers in getting to that professional stage where I'm doing that now for a living. And so I'm
Yes.
very, very proud of everything that I've learned, and the blog posts and the videos are
Mhm.
proof of that. And I'm very proud of those as well. But primarily how prepared I now feel and how certain I am that I want to do
Mhm.
that as a career. And so I just feel so ready for the future, and like I'm
Mhm.
excited to go out and help people. Like I I want to get my law degree over with. Like
Yeah.
that might be a bad way to phrase it, but I want to go in and out and just go right into it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, I had asked you to write something to me. So I asked you to write like I wanted a copy of your resume, and then I wanted you to write me something saying like why did you want to intern here at the office when
Mhm.
before your interview I asked you to say, and so you brought them in, and your kind of statement was all about how, you weren't sure necessarily what area of law, but you wanted to help people. And you had talked about that in kind of your statement, that that was really what you knew you wanted to do without knowing the specific area of law that you wanted. And so I'm glad that you found fulfillment here in the summer, because I wasn't sure. I just didn't know. I've never had an intern, so I wasn't sure, like, am I doing it right? Like, how do you, handle it when somebody's coming into your office? And so the way I approached it, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I just thought, what would I want? What would I have wanted to see? Because I had no legal experience either. And I interned for Tucker Maxwell. His wife was my Latin teacher, and I knew that. And so I just sent him a letter from law school out of the blue and said, "Hey, would you want an intern?" And he made me come up and interview and, send a resume with a statement. And that meant a lot. And I think that you never know what somebody is going to get to experience in an internship and what's important to them. But I know what would have been important to me. And
Mhm.
so, and I do remember your first day, I said, I want to make sure that you try to ask me a question a day that we work through. I want to make sure that you've learned at least 3 things by the end of the summer. And I do think that we exceeded that. I felt like
Yes.
you asked more than one question a day. I felt like at the end of the summer, there were probably more than 3 things that you learned. And so I feel like in that way, together, we made it a successful internship.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree 100%.
All right. So I just have a few more questions. So the next one is, what did you enjoy most about it? I think you touched on this a little bit. Is there anything else you wanted to add? I know you said giving people peace of mind. Was there anything else you enjoyed?
I would say interacting with the clients. I'm a very social person. I'm
Mhm.
fairly extroverted. Just meeting all the people, like seeing all the faces, hearing everyone's stories, and getting to know everybody. I really enjoyed that.
Mhm.
Seeing the faces of the people that I'm helping, seeing up front how I'm benefiting their lives, that really made it all come together for me.
Mhm.
Where it was something that, like, I'm going to love doing this because I am meeting people and, like, carrying on with them, but then I get to help them, like,
Yes.
alleviate any stresses that they have.
Yes. Absolutely. No, I agree with that. Okay. So summarize your internship in 5 words or less.
Okay. So 5 words or less. I
I'll
have
count
to,
them for you.
yeah, I would have to say giving people peace of mind.
Okay. So it keeps coming back to that, right? Like that's such an
Mhm,
important thing, that peace of mind and that safety and security, I guess, or
mhm.
that sense of that, I think is really important to people nowadays.
Exactly, yeah, and I keep on coming back to this analogy because I'm just comparing the stage of life that I'm at
Mhm.
right now with this other one, like, if, say, my parents never taught me how to do my taxes, I would be so stressed, I would
Right.
not be able to, like, relax and have fun and things like that,
Right.
but giving people that knowledge and assistance with this stage in their life, because it's new,
Mhm.
it's scary, and it's so confusing, there's so much to it, but having that peace of mind for people, it's just like, I can enjoy myself now.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what's important at the end of the day.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you're working on for the office here in the future, because you are part of our weekly marketing meetings
Mhm.
and you're working on some stuff. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'll be working remotely, like we mentioned. I am the whole way off in Pittsburgh right now, so I'm a little distance away. But what I'll be doing is I'll be preparing some marketing
Yeah.
documents for them and sending it their way. And the one big thing that we have coming up is I've been creating a interns guide to elder law,
Yes.
which is kind of this big collection of all my
Mhm.
blog content and then some all put
Yes.
together, and so I'll be revising that and everything, and so that should be out in the future. So that's really the big exciting thing that we got going on.
Yes. So for our audience, what we're planning to do is we're approaching Thanksgiving in the Thanksgiving season. And one of the things we think is important here at the office is education. So we thought a great way to thank our referral sources and clients who come in is to give them information. So Noah's putting together his intern's guide. I reviewed it the first time. I know you're making some revisions. And so I think it'll be a nice, comprehensive guide for people. Now, there, like, I know that there's always like levels of detail, and I feel like yours is a nice entry level. Hey, this is the things that are important that you're going to experience at our office, some terms that you might run into. There's a glossary, that you can go and look up those terms. And so I think for the first time, we always have clients ask if we have handouts or information. And so I feel like for the first time, we're going to be able to give them something in their hands that they can take home as a resource. So I'm excited about it too. And I think it's a great way to kind of close the summer on your first summer here to kind of document it. I mean, in some ways, it's a little bit like a scrapbook, if you will,
It kind of is,
of your
yeah.
internship. So I'm excited. And I feel like just from a perspective of somebody who's been through an internship, I think that what it's done is it's laid a great foundation for you going forward. Like, you can build off that, and
Mhm.
you're only going to keep building on it. And knowledge is always helpful in dealing with clients and as an attorney. So I think that's a great thing. So we're excited about that. And we're excited that you were able to keep working for us, that your schedule
Yeah.
allowed us to be able to do that. And so
Mhm.
that's great. So
Yeah, I'm
have you
excited.
made any decisions? How is the law school informational search? How's that going?
It's going. I'm definitely made a lot more strides than I was at the beginning of the summer. I took my LSAT, so I have a score for for the law school search as a
Mhm.
reference. I'm going to retake the LSAT as well, just
Mhm.
to try to get the best score that I can.
Right.
I'm looking at a couple of different law schools. No single one has been, like, I've not committed to any single one.
Right.
Currently, I'm in the 3+3 law program at Robert Morris University, which would
What
mean,
is that? I know you mentioned a little bit. So what is that program?
so my school offers for any student who wants to go into a law school. Robert Morris has made an arrangement with a series of law schools in the Pittsburgh area where a student at RMU would do their first 3 years, freshman through junior year, and then what would be their senior year at their undergrad at Robert Morris is their freshman year at one of those law
Gotcha.
schools in that pool of law schools, and then the other 3 years because you spend 3 years at law school.
Yes.
And so that is an option that I have. So that is something that that's still a program that I'm in,
Considering.
and that's still definitely, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
still an option for me.
Yeah. Because traditionally you go through 4 years of undergrad and then you have 3 years of law school. So
Hmm.
potentially this would shorten your law school experience, right?
Hmm.
Because instead of having 7 years of 4 years of undergrad, 3 years of law school, you would have 3 years of undergrad, and your last year of undergrad would really be your first year of law school. So you would do it in 6 years, correct? That's the concept. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Which can be tough. Like, I don't, law school was tough. It's
Hmm.
not that I didn't enjoy it because I love school, but it's just learning a whole bunch of new concepts that I had never had experience in. So I could see
Hmm.
how a program like that is great, but it also, I think, could be pretty stressful to fit all of that in.
Yeah,
So, but
for sure.
no, and thanks for taking a half hour to talk to me. I appreciate it. And thanks for letting us record it.
Of course, yeah. I always enjoy talking, and I every time I've had the opportunity to tell people about this internship, I've said a lot of the same things. It's just been such a great experience for me, and I'm very happy to have discovered something that is letting me help people. So it's been a lot
Absolutely.
of
Well,
fun.
we were happy to have you. We're happy that you're continuing to work for us. And yeah, we'll check in, I'm sure, in the next couple of months. We'll figure out some way to do something fun with the video. But again, I just wanted, for those people who watch it, I just thought it would be nice to hear what your experience was and to look at it from someone else's eyes. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that.
Of course.
All right, we will talk to you soon.
All right, it sounds good.